In this video, I will discuss the graha Chandra, what it is and what it represents in Vedic astrology. Chandra is the moon, which is not technically a planet, but a celestial body known as a satellite that revolves around the Earth. Chandra means bright and shining. In the Navagrahas video, I explained that the sun and the moon are the two luminaries. I mentioned that the qualities of the moon as a luminary is seen as having a reflective and internal nature because the moon emits no light of its own. It only reflects the glowing light of the sun. Therefore, the sun gives and the moon receives. So they expressly represent the nature of male and female. They also represent our cosmic parents as the celestial mother and father. The moon is the mother archetype who is closest to the earth. Our primary relationship is with the mother, in which all subsequent relationships are then modeled. Chandra is the most important planet because it is the closest celestial object relative to the earth, as well as the fastest moving out of all of the 9 grahas. Out of all the planets, it has the greatest psychological and developmental effect on us because of its proximity. Therefore, our personality characteristics are more like our moon sign than our sun signs. Essentially, the moon is representative of your mind. It is your psychological state, your temperament, your mood, and emotional state of being. It is your mind because it's the style in which you think and behave. Your thoughts, moods, and behavior are all interconnected. They're not separate. Think about that. What you think about affects your mood, and your mood colors the way that you think. The moon has a cyclical and changing nature, which represents our thinking because just like the phase of the moon changes, so do our minds and our feelings. The moon is your filter. It's the way that you see the world and the way that the world is colored around you. Second to the Lagna, which is also known as the rising sign or the ascendant, the moon represents your personality. It can also be your state of mental and psychological well-being, so it will be connected to your body's health and form. It is also early childhood development as well as your instinctual nature. People are complex. However, humans can be seen as tripart beings made up of body, mind, and soul. These 3 most important aspects of the chart are the Lagna, the moon, and the sun. The Lagna is the body, the moon is the mind, and the sun is the soul. You have to have a body and a soul, but the moon is the awareness that you exist at all as an incarnate being. It is the limited individual self expressed as a singular entity. The moon is the mind that can be understood from a psychological approach. Along with the qualities of the Lagna, the moon shows the character traits and the more predictable and measurable personality traits as archetypes. The moon is a sattvic planet, which is spiritual in nature and pure in essence. Sattvic means pure. This energy reflects the internal light of consciousness that can operate by expressing peace and well-being in the world. The moon is the feminine mother goddess motif. As I mentioned earlier, the lunar energy is introverted and internally processed. It is also emotive and closely associated with the element of water. So the moon is Jala Tattva, which is the watery element that supports life. The mind is ever changing and fluid, just like the water element. Just as the moon pulls big bodies of water with the tides, it also pulls our moods according to the sign it transits, because humans are comprised of mostly water, so therefore it would have this effect on us. The glyph or symbol of the moon is a crescent, indicating the cyclical fluctuation from full moon to new moon back to full again. This symbolizes our ever-changing and adapting minds. Whichever sign and house the moon is situated in your chart indicates the most opportunity for growth of self-awareness. The moon also has an element of familiarity and comfort. So wherever the moon is located will show you the area of life that you feel more at home. The moon is said to be activated in your chart at the 24th year, where it matures and begins to exhibit its full strength. Our minds usually begin to finish developing around this age. The astronomical functioning of the moon is seen by its orbit around the Earth as the basis of the lunar calendar. The lunar calendar is based upon the phases of the moon, unlike the solar calendar of the solar year. The moon creates a lunar month by moving through all 12 zodiac signs in 27.3 days. It transits through each astrological sun sign every 2¼ days. The sun creates the year and the moon creates the month, or the moon. The moon also represents Mondays in the week, or rather moon days. When the moon is in front of the sun conjoined together, we have a new moon. When it is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun, 180 degrees apart, we have a full moon. Unlike all the other grahas, the sun and the moon are the only planets that don't appear to move retrograde from a geocentric, Earth-centered perspective. They only travel in a forward motion through the ecliptic. This fact only adds to the significance of their impact on us as a reflection of a continual and constant stream of divine consciousness flowing through us. So the sun creates the 12 solar signs by dividing the sky in which it travels through in 1 year into 12 equal parts, known as the zodiac. Just as the sun creates 12 signs in Vedic astrology, the moon similarly creates its own moon signs. The moon does this by moving through each of the 12 sun signs in a little more than 27 days. This makes up the sidereal cycle of the moon. This movement divides the sky into 27 parts, known as the 27 nakshatras. Another name for nakshatras are lunar mansions or moon signs. A nakshatra is a smaller grouping of stars called an asterism. These asterisms are within a larger constellation, otherwise known as a sun sign. These nakshatras house fixed stars. The study of the stars is the basis of astrology as an ancient astronomical science, and the moon plays just as an important role as the sun, if not more important, in further determining the qualities of your sign. Remember, you can only see the stars under the absence of the sun amidst the darkness of the night sky. So to put this simply, in summary, the sun creates the 12 solar signs, and the moon creates the 27 moon signs within those 12 signs. I will cover more about nakshatras in later videos. It's important that we first know the astronomy of the moon's role in astrology in order to understand its mythology, which will further explain the characteristics of Chandra. So, other than your mind, the main indications of the moon are your mother, females in general, and femininity, also comfort, security, peace, and a serene energy of calm and well-being. It is also your sensory abilities, your intuition, imagination, psychic ability, your subconscious mind, and sleep. It's also cognition, understanding, perception, and memory. It can also be indicative of the public. Although the moon has these female traits associated with her, it's very interesting to note that in Vedic myth, Chandra is depicted as a male deity. He is married to the 27 lunar mansions, or nakshatras, as I mentioned earlier. So 27 days is how long it takes for the moon to move through all of the signs. So each night he stays in one of the mansions until he has completed his visit with all 27 wives. It is told that Chandra was most fond of one wife in particular, the lunar mansion called Rohini, inside the Taurus constellation. This explains why Chandra is exalted in the sign of Taurus. Chandra has lordship over Karka Rashi, otherwise known as Cancer. She is the most powerful in the sign of Vrishabha, or Taurus, the sign of the moon's exaltation. She is the weakest in the sign of Vrishchika, or Scorpio, where she is debilitated. Because of the moon's kapha nature, she does well for all water sign ascendants, Karka, Vrishchika, and Meena. This is the 159 trine of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The moon gets Digbala, or directional strength, in the 4th house. Here she is of strongest influence. She also does well in the Kendra houses, which are 1, 4, 7, and 10. It's important for the moon to be with other planets so as not to be alone in the chart. When the moon is isolated without any planets flanked on either side, it causes a feeling of isolation and a lack of support. When there are no planets before or after the moon sign, other than the sun or a lunar node, it is called Kendram Yoga. When planets accompany the moon, there is a feeling of support and connectivity. The moon is important for how we either feel connected to people or alternatively, we feel isolated from them. It is considered to be a benefic in its waxing and full moon phase, and considering it's not aspected by a malefic planet. The moon is easily impressionable and it absorbs the energy of the other planets influencing it, or the other planets that is nearby the moon. Chandra is also called Soma, named after an intoxicating drink, which is the nectar of immortality. This is essentially the vital waters of life in every living being. The moon's luminous nature gives life and a state of bliss and contentment. As the planetary indicator for peace and happiness, she gives us the awareness of consciousness and mindfulness to have meaningful experiences in life. Wherever the moon is located in your chart is where you will feel like your most authentic self. If you like this video, leave a like. If you like this content, please subscribe to my SunGoddess Astrology YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.